Let's call it Jupiter juice with a Venus icing on the cake. So in 2013-14, when there was a chance for these two planets to pair up, they didn't. They missed a beat. This only happens on average every 12 years. What's not so regular is what we're talking about on June the 9th. We won't see Jupiter and Venus join together again in the sign of Cancer until 2037. One area of your reality will start to flow effortlessly. We can call it luck, effortless success, growth, and expansion with extra fairy dust on top, as both Jupiter exalted in Cancer, Venus in Cancer join hands together on June the 9th. And that reset button, that synodic cycle of those two benefic planets lasts one whole year. Well, it begins on June 9th. It does not finish out until almost 1 year later. We're going to break it down and talk about how you can benefit from this incredibly powerful, most lucky conjunction of 2026. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lori Lothian, and this is Western Tropical Astrology. We're going to talk about how your sun, your moon, or your rising sign will exceed its expectations in one area of your life. And by area of your life, I mean there are 12 pie slices of reality, from your marriage to your home, to your money, to your health, to your children, to your romance, that is going to be activated. 12 pie slices of reality are called 12 whole sign houses in your chart. And today's video is all about you and this extraordinary blessing. Just so you know, for Jupiter and Venus to join together in Cancer this way, where Jupiter is super powered, like fairy godfather on steroids, this only happens on average every 12 years. I'm going to be giving you the other dates and times that you've experienced this so that you can go back and do an inventory of whether this tool and this technique is true. I'm basically a research investigative type mind when it comes to astrology. I take nothing for granted because I've had clients, because I do the work, because I've been researching for years. I can tell you this one is pretty darn reliable. That said, this is what we call general bell curve astrology, or what I do call general bell curve astrology. Let me do a diagram for those of you who have no idea what the heck I'm talking about, right? So there's a central tendency. This is the average middle of the zone, middle of the road, right? And there's deviations from that. And these are what we would call outliers. Not every Scorpio or sun or moon will have the same experience of this beautiful transit. Some of you will be here and you'll relate to what I'm telling you. You'll be, oh my God, you hit the nail on the head. Some of you will not, partly because maybe your time of birth is wrong, partly because maybe you're listening to your ascendant and your sun is more actively truly you, but also because you'll have planets in your chart that are completely your unique birth signature, and you may have some debilities that are tampering down some of the powers here. And I'll be teaching a course next year called Code Breaker, and how to break the code of your chart in both positive and negative ways. So if you like the kinds of stuff I do and you like to learn with me, make sure to get on any one of my mailing lists. The best way to sign up for me and be on my mail list is Cosmic Moonshine Newsletter, and it's down below. It's kind of a couple times a month I reach out with some information or news for you guys. That's one way to find me. All right, so let's get started. I am in the middle of packing. You'll see boxes maybe behind me and a hot mess because I'm moving. So bear with me. I'm recording in the middle of a move, and I'm recording this video for you guys on May 25th. Please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. That really helps the channel grow. This video will be coming out on June the 4th, I believe. And if you go back in time, you'll see that I did a world astrology video with Donnie Lim last weekend, as well as I dropped 12 videos all stuck together for your sign, with 30 minutes for your sign in the month of June, delineating everything you need to know. And in that longer video, I also have a half-hour overview as well of what I think the month of June is about. Now, guys, the first thing I have to say is this is something that I love for its rarity. You know, in astrology, we go like, what is every day? Like every day, you know, 6 times a year, Venus, 6 times a year, Mercury conjuncts the sun, 3 times a year, he retrogrades for 3 years and spends 2 months in a sign. This is like regular rhythms of our lives. What's not so regular is what we're talking about on June the 9th. I'll be showing you the sky, but I want you to think of Santa Claus, fairy godfather, ho, 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 benefic energy, that like the generous, the good, the wise, and the true. Jupiter, exalted at a zenith of power in the sign of home and homeland and mother and children. Cancer, And he's in this position in exaltation since June 10th of 2025 through until June 30th of 2026. And while he's there, Venus can join him, come into the Cancer sky owned by the moon and say hello. And when she comes in and says hello and nudges up to him and gives him a hug, June 9th, it's called a conjunction. That conjunction rolls out a story that lasts until she co-joins Jupiter again. This will be in Leo in 2027. So for the next roughly a year, you're going to experience almost a year. You're going to experience the glory of this new union. It bakes in a symbolic resonance or a reverb that lasts that long, and it will move through one sign in your chart, Cancer, and one whole sign Cancer house sign. Please use whole sign houses, not Placidus. Okay, how to cast your chart in whole sign houses? Check my description box below, free tutorial. And then you can count on this to work. Now I'm going to be talking about the cycle. In fact, being so old school, I wrote it down for myself. I don't know if you guys can read that. You might want to screenshot it, but it doesn't really matter. You don't need to know historical dates going back to the 1966, right? But what I will tell you is this. I used to make these charts for you, but I'm not able to find the time. But I want you to listen in. Just like get a pen now or a paper or get your phone and start like just jotting a couple of dates down, right? You'll notice if you go back in time that we did indeed have this conjunction twice a year, like every second year, which we're doing now in history. So although we won't see Jupiter and Venus join together again in the sign of Cancer until 2037, then again in 2049, and then again in 2061, every 12 years, in 2084, 85, we have a double conjunction, one in 2084 and one in 2085. Why am I telling you that far-flung story? Because we have a rare condition here where instead of on the yearly only, with Venus meeting Jupiter in his exaltation and making this benefic pair up, we did have a double pair up in 1942 and 1943. Those years, and resets a whole year and another year of that fortunate energy. But we also saw it in 2002 and 2001, in June of 2002 and August of 2001, these guys paired together for a double hit. And therefore, you're probably asking me, because we talked about cycles that are roughly 12 years. Well, if we're going back to 2001 and 2002, and now we're talking about 25 and 26, we're talking about way more than a 12-year cycle. You're absolutely right. If you take 2002 and you add 12 years, right? 2002 and you add 12 years, right? You're getting instead 2002, 2012, 2014. So in 2013-14, when there was a chance for these two planets to pair up, they didn't. They missed a beat. And this is also extremely overdue because we've been waiting not 12 years for Venus and Jupiter to pair up in the sign of Cancer. Indeed, we have been waiting since 2001 and 2 for this to occur again. If you're wanting to think back in time, just bear with me here, but you'll notice that in August of 66 and in May of 98, these are the degrees on the side that they paired up on. I'm reversed. August, this is the degree here, and August 12th of 1990. You'll notice that those are times that those conjunctions occurred. And for over a year, it rolled out for almost a year of fortunate energy in the sky. But then we ended up jumping into 2001 and 2002 as a double whammy. And the degrees are on the right where my finger is, or left. And then we see what happened last year and this year. On August 11th of 2025 at 13 degrees of Cancer, Jupiter and Venus joined together in the temple of the moon, the sign of Cancer. And they're doing it again June 9th of 2026, right? They're pairing together again at 25 degrees and 46 minutes of Cancer. And we won't see that kind of double whammy until 84, 85. I think the main point I'm trying to show you is the cycle, where this luck is going to be in exaltation only on the rarity, and how we all missed the boat in 2013-14 that while Jupiter was moving through Cancer, Venus, because of retrogradation and Jupiter's path, did not co-join in Western tropical Cancer. It's super rare, and that means it's super important that we're so overdue for this benefic luck. You can make a case that starting in 2001, yes, September of 2001, does anybody remember that? right? So August 5th of 2001, and then by September we had 9/11. Yeah, that wasn't so great, right? There's an interesting thing about that double pairing in 2001 and 2. And I want to give you a caveat about that. Well, in our individual lives, Jupiter and Venus together will be good. And although Jupiter exalted can bite off more than he can chew, he's also doing all of this action in a place in the sky, Cancer, where the United States of America has its sun around the dog star, around 13 Cancer, and has its own Jupiter as well. So we'll see stories connected to home, homeland, and defense, usually picking up when Jupiter and Venus co-join together in the sign of home, homeland, and defense. And in fact, in 42-43, with that double conjunction, 1942-43, the United States entered the war in World War II. So the downside of the double year conjunctions can be the United States getting involved actively in a war that's motivated by defense of home and homeland, not offensive, not proactive, and all of that. So we saw the United States get involved in a war starting last year, June the 9th of August 11th of 2025. We saw the United States incite a war, like started in June of 25. So it wasn't really about this conjunction with Iran, but we're still in this. So June the 9th out of year, it's possible there's more United States ostensibly going to battle to defend the homeland, so to speak, because home and homeland is Cancer. And the United States has a sun on the dog star Sirius and Jupiter there. So it keeps pulling the US into these stories. All right. Rightio, let's go ahead and talk about your sign. This is not a world astrology report on this conjunction. This is your way to ride the wave. If I'm going to do a world astrology report on this conjunction, it'll probably come out Saturday after this video. Like, guys, try doing all this when you're moving. Have you ever wanted success to flow effortlessly in your life? I do. So I actually ordered this Pyrite crystal ball. I saw like an ad infomercial. It is so cool. I grew up in Northern Ontario, Canada, where we had gold mines and we had a ton of fool's gold called pyrite. This is a actual ball of pyrite, all polished up like a crystal sphere. I have a little holder for it over here on my mantle. And I was offered this as a trial gift by Otter Spirit, whose jewelry I am wearing. And if you like this kind of beads that are astrologically sensitive, or are chakra sensitive, you can order any of this, including their spheres, for a discount code, because Lunatic Astrology, I am one of their affiliates. And I love how they provide, not only this comes with a big box, quite beautiful for packing or gifting, but also comes with Pyrite Success Flows Effortlessly. It's AA grade. And you'll see that it's good for prosperity. It's good for, I'm trying to read it, Scorpio, Aries, Scorpio, Leo, and Sag. I'm an Aries sun, moon, and Mercury. And it's good for your solar plexus, which is a part of us that needs to push forward in the world to create success. So I got this one from them actually by mistake. I'd ordered obsidian, which is good for protection, but they were all out. And I said, okay, well, I'll just take the pyrite. I didn't even know it meant success flows effortlessly. And I work hard, and effortless success would be a nice break. So if you're wondering about that, you can find their website at otterspirit.com. The code for their discounts, there's multiple discounts when you're buying from them. If you spend more than $100, you get a larger discount. This is Otter Spirit. Let me make it big for you. This is the section for the crystal spheres. They have a lot of different ones in the lineup, and they're quite cool. And I've never actually had a crystal sphere before. So lapis lazuli, obsidian. And then when you click on it, it'll tell you what they are all about. Garnet, red jasper, aventurine and pyrite, amazonite, leopard skin, this and that. There's a little stand you can order. I already had a stand. Amethyst, of course, that's beautiful as well. So they do have a ton of bracelets you can buy, but you can shop by gemstones, chakras, or zodiac. And this is a lot of fun too, to get the zodiac packs that are tuned to your specific astrological zodiac sign. I do love them. I've been a brand sponsor for about 3 years, but I wear their jewelry all the time. I am not making like a ton of money on this jewelry. It's just my love of gemstones, rocks, and minerals. I have a natural affiliation for the stone kingdom. And when I travel around the world, I've always come home with some rock from some place. I have quite the rock collection to anchor in the energy of the earth and the place that I stayed at yet. No, I'm not taking bits of the pyramid home. I'm taking rocks from the ground, whatever is like, easily available and not going to destroy the environment. All right. Thanks for listening to that little promo. I really love these guys. I hope that is something that you might be interested in. My success flows effortlessly. I've had this sphere now for about 2 weeks, and I'm starting to notice a feeling that things are happening with a little less effort and a little more ease. And success wise, you have to define success. I think it's making a living doing what I love, but without being exhausted or burned out. That would be success. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and talk about your signs, starting with sun, moon, and rising. We're going to talk about how this is going to glow you up for a year. I'll address how you might have felt it play out already from last August's conjunction, and I'll give you some thoughts about that. It's approximately a 10 and a half, 11-month time frame where you've got this new juice in your chart, right? Let's call it Jupiter juice with a Venus icing on the cake, or Jupiter juice with a dollop of, Venusian nectar. Okay, make a cocktail, see what it tastes like. Sun sign is your essential nature and true self. It represents career and purpose. Moon sign is how you think and feel, your mind and thoughts and emotions about life, but it's your domicile, home, and nest, and will impact your nest. And it's also your mother, and the sun is your dad, and the ascendant is your simulation avatar character, right? In the game of life. Think about the sun as the actor, and the role the actor plays as the ascendant, and you got the big picture. We're going to go through each sign. We'll probably be here for an hour. Please relax. Slow me down if I'm talking too quickly. I am really excited about this event. This is something I'm happy to deliver to you guys, that I'm looking forward to talking about. Someone said my Substack article that I put out about war in Chiron Anaretic 29 was really grim. And I said, yeah, because not everything is a bed of roses, but this is a bed of roses. We have a bed of roses to talk about. Hallelujah. So I'm going to bring us over to the chart, and we're going to go through it together and settle in, get a glass of wine, a beer, a coffee, a tea, whatever makes you happy. And I had quite an intense dream last night that I'm still processing, but I did have some valerian tea before bed. And I think it might have been almost like what do you call it? Like a psychedelic. My dreams last night were a psychedelic experience. I'm not kidding you. I'm still trying to come out of that daze from my dreams. All right. And again, I'm recording this on May 25th, so I don't know what's going on in the world. This is not a world astrology report. I would try to do those closer to real life events. Let's share the screen. Let's call it the glorious glow up. So you're going to have a glorious glow up that lasts a year. Let's start with Aries, sun, moon, and rising. We'll be bringing in the stars that are involved here. Beautiful stars, Procyon and Pollux, as well as some really beautiful asteroid Sidori's as well. This kind of brings us into a dark and light energy, like the battle between the inner darkness and the inner demons and the inner light. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. This asteroid over here is going to be in a beautiful trine flowing to this conjunction at 25 degrees and 46 minutes between Venus and Jupiter. Well, the flowing energy of this story, right, for each sign is about Teheran Hiawako. Teheran Hiawako. Thank you for my Algonquin. The god of the creation people of the Iroquois people, not Algonquin, sorry, Iroquois. So this is a god that created the corn and the fruit and the tobacco, and he was always doing battle with his evil twin brother who created pests, weeds, and earthly ills. So the battle between the forces of generation and generative and reproductive and growth and expansion versus the other force, contraction, right? So it's literally Shiva Shakti. It's literally the way the world works, dark and light and polarity, the battle between the good and the chaos, the struggle to create or not give in to the dark side. I would argue that we have to give into the dark side because there's more to life than the dark and the light. That battle will keep going on for eternity, and it will never, ever end. You got to go deeper at what's beyond the dark and the light, the up and the down. But that's a spiritual story for another day. But with Teheran Hiwako here, what I'm gathering is there's a desire for the Jupiter-Venus conjunction to move you, me, and the collective beyond our polarity and duality game, and certainly to tap into, if we can, the light side instead of the dark side of our own nature, the devil and angel on our shoulders. And at the same time, we have the asteroid over here, Bienor. I'm not going to read it. It's about a rampaging centaur at a wedding who is then killed by Theseus, I think, a king. The long story short, the software says the rampaging Centaur can be converted to following one's own path, charging ahead, on your mission and all of that. The software tries to make it a happy story. I could just say places where rampages are happening, like violence. The wedding of the Lapis was like the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones. There is something about trying to resolve places where we go on murderous rampages collectively, and we know where those happen. Usually it's in conditions of war. And the other part of it is, or attainment of property at the expense of your neighbors. And we also can see Apophis here. Now, Apophis is an asteroid that is potentially in 2029 and again in 2033 called a world destroyer, could be quite close to Earth. And yet, apparently, scientists / NASA say that the trajectory, especially in 29, so far will mean a bypassing of Earth and not hitting the Earth. But it's a big Manhattan-sized asteroid, I believe, or comet asteroid, I believe. And Apophis could definitely, so an asteroid, could cause problems. Or is it a comet? But anyway, whatever it is, watch out for Apophis. So a lot of people in conspiracy world think that there's bunkers by the rich and famous in case Apophis hits us. And that's all the underground bunkers by the trillionaire class. It's possible they're worried, but does anyone really know if Apophis will hit? And are we preparing ways to mitigate that by shooting missiles into space that could knock the asteroid off its trajectory? We probably are. A lot of know a lot of aerospace scientists, nuclear scientists, alternate energy scientists have gone missing. There's things there. Alamos Lab, which produces nuclear cores, also had to double its production when Trump came into his second term or first term. Maybe there's a lot going on behind the scenes to create ways to mitigate a potential disaster on Earth, right? But that said, Jupiter is benefic and so is Venus. And so there's a taming of the beast of Apophis, the world destroyer. So I'm liking that. And lastly, for the world stories, we're going to notice Pollux, the twin who's mortal. So remember we said the evil brothers, the Iroquois god of the eagle, the chaos, the weed brother who destroys the growth, and the one who plants the seeds, the good brother. We have another brother story. Pollux and Castor and Pollux can be a kind of story about the god and the mortal and immortal twins is what the story is about. And Pollux is the one who was born from Jupiter or Zeus and has immortal blood. He's a demigod, half human, half god. His mother was shared by his brother Castor, and Castor was all mortal, and they were really good friends as brothers. And when his brother, the mortal Castor died in battle, so bereft was the brother that he wanted to help, and he got a deal with Zeus to allow him to share some of his divine nectar, probably his blood transfusion, with his brother. And then his brother shared his divinity, but so they took turns going into the underworld, the place of death, and Mount Olympus. So there was a compromise between the mortal and immortal nature of humanity in that mythology, right? And we are godlets here. We're half immortal. We're starseeds if you're super new agey, but there's a part of us that is immortal, and we may be trapped in our mortality, locked in our animal and limbic and reptilian hijacked brains. And we may even be interfered with so that we don't remember our true immortal nature and our divinity. So there's something about that big picture story of humanity remembering itself and coming home to itself that is curious, isn't it? And what we have down here, I didn't draw Urania, the asteroid of outer space and planets and galaxies, is with Uranus in the sky. So there's something about that that's intriguing me. I'm still thinking with Uranus at the bending of the nodes of fate with Urania, major disclosure, UFO, alternate life sources, non-human intelligence stories may be coming to light during the rough window of time in the first week of June that we see the sky so lit up. Let's move away from that big, broad story. Remember, asteroid America in June will be traveling over Donald Trump's ascendant and Mars, and then we're going to see it hit the North Node shortly after, within a week or less, and that's going to be something to do with the word loss in the United States of America. I know I told you I wouldn't get there, but you see it there by June 23rd. Park your thoughts for where this letting go, surrender, loss, and difficulty is involving the U.S., most likely the U.S. Could be the North Americas, so we could talk about Cuba, or we could talk about the U.S. Let's move on and talk about each sign. I just want to remind you to like and subscribe. And I forgot to tell you something. I have a big celebration going on for the whole month of June because I passed 150,000 subscribers in May. We began that off opening maybe this third week of May through to the end of June. You can buy any one of my courses that I've taught: finding past lives in the chart, finding career purpose in the chart, finding your gifts and talents in the chart, finding your spouse in the chart, finding all this stuff in the chart. These are courses that I taught. They're about 90 minutes, maybe to an hour to 2 hours long at most. That this is a replay with the slides, 40% off at my new website, LoriLothian.com. Go there, click the courses button, scroll down and pick which ones turn you on and tap you in and all of that. And go ahead and grab it for 40% off. Caps, all caps, celebrate. That's the code. Celebrate, all caps. You got it. Enjoy that ride. That sale, that celebration sale ends at the end of June. All right, guys, let's go ahead. Again, I keep starting over. Let's get moving and move right on back to Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. And we shall prevail in getting this done within an hour so I can pack more boxes. Most of the boxes have been moved to a closet back there. Otherwise, you'd see nothing but boxes stacked up in my living room. So wish me luck. I'm moving. Another house away from the fire hall, away from the hospital, away from the place with no AC. Aries sun, Aries moon, Aries rising sign. Yes, this happened already last year in August on the 11th at 13 degrees of Cancer. And before that, June of 2002 and August of 2001. And you would take a year after each of those on average in order to parse it. It's not quite a year. It's closer to 10 months. But in that regard, you can say, oh my God, there's a new blessing afoot. What is this going to bring me? And you got some evidence from the past because Cancer is home, property, land, real estate, and where you live. And this is where you're going to have success flows effortlessly. This is where things are going to move into a better position for you. Ease, luck, grace, prosperity, and joy. And Jupiter represents children in the home and Venus's fertility. There's a possibility of more children in your home or in the family itself. So I have an Aries sun and I have an Aries moon, and I can relate because this was this story. This happened in August of 25. And until now, June 9th of 26, I'm in this storyline. And the energy can bring you into a kind of vibration. I forgot to tell you about Procyon, a star of executive success and command. But this particular cycle will bring each of us Aries into fertility, getting pregnant, or your kids are getting pregnant. For you guys, Aries, it can be grandchildren coming your way. And indeed, last August cycle initiated my son having a conception in the fall with his wife. And I will have more children in the family. I'll have my first grandchild. This stuff works. That's from my Aries sun position and moon. Moon represents one's home. Okay, so by the time I moved last July, I realized in August I will need to move again. I discovered the siren problem in my neighborhood and the lack of AC being a problem. And these windows are not double glazed or are they tinted. So it's an old building. So I recognized the problem. And I knew that with this energy building for 2 years, I get a bigger, better home. Now I'm moving in a beautiful 2-bedroom with ocean views and a rooftop deck for working out and barbecuing on the building. And I'm happy about it. So I was promised a better home. I was promised fertility and maybe more children in my family, whether I was having them or they were being had by my own children. So you can go back and look at the story that began a first salvo, August of 25, starting at 2.0, June of 2026. And I know I hear the question, what is the next time I need to think about this? Like, how long do I get this Jupiter juice and this super fairy godmother story playing out? And I'll tell you exactly how long that lasts. And we have this unusual circumstance where instead of Venus and Jupiter joining in the sign of Leo, they will join in Virgo in August of 2027. So we do get a whole year-long ride out of this. I just double-checked that. And I'm like, oh my God, guys, it really is a year. It's really more than a year when the August thing happens. So it's going to give like a 13-month run, which is lovely because 13 lunations a year is such a lunar story. Let's get back to your sign. I should have double-checked the math on that. And we are ready to roll for that year-long blessing, 13-month blessing. We're all going to feel, it's even more than that, right? June 9th to August, June, July, August. It's brain is 12. 14 months, 14 months of blessings until the next synodic cycle kicks in. All right, 14 months of blessings. Let's roll with it. Success flows effortlessly, says my pyrite ball with my prosperity intention. Well, we continue. I wanted to mention that if you're looking at this fourth house, there's more than just your property, land, home, and real estate, babies, fertility, lusciousness in the home, and prosperity in and from the home, of course, as well. But your fourth house can literally be connected to your mom and dad, and quite often more so your mother. So your mother may be having more luck, I like the Vedic use of the fourth house for mother. I know there's other techniques. And so you might have more luck, more prosperity, she may have more luck, prosperity, or you may have a generatively positive new kind of relationship with a mother or mother figure if you're in a relationship with your mother. Some of us may not be in a mother relationship. Anything to do with your home, in the home, can be important. With Mercury co-present beside this new conjunction, possibly a pet. This is a classic expansion of your home by purchasing a new animal. Some of you, Venus rules possessions, Mercury rules the house of pets. I'll say that a good 80% of you might consider a new pet in your home coming over this next 14 months until August of 27. The other opportunity would be a change of home to a bigger home, a more prosperous home, a more opulent home, a more luscious home, a more refined home, a more beautiful and aesthetically pleasing home. But if you're going to do that, it may also involve rental property opportunities because Mercury is the ruler of rental property opportunities, and so there's this generous energy around a larger, better, more fancy home. Now, while I am moving from last year's conjunction, already moving, it could be a secondary move a year, 14 months from now. I have a 13-month lease of all things, and that would time out with me moving on up to the big time, as the Jeffersons would say in that old show, moving on up to the big time, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. I can't sing, but you get the gist. So I could up level again as a Aries, and maybe you guys will too. I need to make it bigger for you. I might be in like small screen. I kind of want you to consider that if you want to be an entrepreneur or a business person, or you want to be a super commanding executive of your own success stories, Procyon means to do it in the home, from the home. The only other option would become a real estate agent or work in land sales and property negotiations and make your money through property related matters. Otherwise, prosperity in and from the home can lend itself to a very strong implication around self-generated money through entrepreneurial, consulting, or independent business structures. If you're not an entrepreneur yet or a self-directed business person, this could put you in that mind. And I think that some of that would bring you into the online world for those monies as well, based on the sky. Finally, Aries, last but not least thing to tell you, you have the moon on June 9th moving through Aries, your sign, as these two planets, Venus and Jupiter, hold hands in the temple of the moon. The moon is squaring Jupiter, Venus, witnessing it in a whole sign square. It doesn't matter that it's a square. It means action, momentum, motivation, will, and direction, where you are particularly motivated, moon, to take charge of your moods and your emotions over the next 14 months, or major changes and turning points with wealth and prosperity regarding mother figures, as well as home. The moon and Aries make you specifically geared that by August of 27, when that conjunction happens in Virgo, you've leveled up your home. You either got much, much richer from your home than you ever imagined possible, or you have moved to a much larger home. Last point, Mercury rules the house of employees, servants. You might be able to hire more employees or servants, whether it's cooks, maids, cleaners, chauffeurs, or employment people that you run a business and you have more helpers. Those things will increase and bring more prosperity and success to you according to this chart. All right, so there's a vibe, and it can really love you up if you make long distance money, borderless income, or digital revenue. That's what we got for you. I hope you enjoyed the ride. This is a very lovely story. It does incite a new level of prosperity and beauty and largesse from the root of the home, the chart, where you live, what you do in the home, etc. There may be long-lasting love in the home as well, because Venus is a ruler of your committed love house and Jupiter is the god of legal contracts. There is a possibility that some of you will become wed, engaged, move in together, commit more deeply to a long-term partnership. So consider that a possibility. If you're single, that could start to happen. If you're with someone, it could move that relationship towards more enjoyment, beauty, and grace in the home, but also a legal binding contract called marriage agreements, weddings, committed monogamous status, especially cohabitation. That's what we got for you, Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What a glorious story. Let me know how that feels or resonates for you, even though you've already lived through it since last August of 25 to June this year. This one will unfold until August of 2027, 14 months of glory. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. First things first, guys. What are you doing here with this beautiful, glorious conjunction of Venus and Jupiter in the house of travel, siblings, social media, landscape, media, neighbors, neighborhood, your daily activities, your daily environment, the places you go, the travelings you do, especially domestic, the learnings you choose, course studies or course teachings, communications and writing, scrying and divining, all of that is in that third house of the goddess. And this energy here opened up for you, okay, began to become a thing more recently, last August 11th. And it started at 13 degrees of Cancer. So certainly any Tauruses near 13, Sun, Moon, and Rising of Taurus felt a beautiful sextile flow to this last year. And now June the 9th until August of 2027, you're under the spell of another blessing roll that you won't see again until 2037. So it's a big deal. And there's nothing about this that you shouldn't be looking forward to. I think if you go back to 2001, August, and then June of 2002, and in both those cases, you add that year, you probably had something similar happening, some kind of glow up. In the intro, I gave you the other dates and held up a piece of paper to screenshot. Go back and look at it. But this is the energy of expansion. This is the energy of luck. And this is the energy of prosperity in that third house. If you have a sibling one younger than you in particular, this is the house of that sibling. And there may be some expansion, growth, or luck going on in the sibling's house, that one younger than you, if you have a sibling one younger than you. And siblings in general can just simply be implicated here. And it can be that one of your siblings is going to have a baby, or one of their children is having a baby. It can increase fertility in children amongst cousins and siblings and extended family members. And this may not be your children or your fertility, but theirs. Energy-wise, the third house is projects that you're engaged in, sometimes businesses, sometimes online social media, websites or courses, sometimes things connected to your projects you would engage in to learn a new skill, like to learn a trade or a skill, and then use it for prosperity. So any learning you do, like I'm going to learn how to be a mechanic, or I'm going to learn how to be a seamstress, or I'm going to learn how to think how-to learning. You can turn that how-to learning into a prosperous endeavor, including entrepreneurial, because Mercury rules your house of entrepreneurship. So, and he's with this conjunction. So you guys are ready, set, go. If you've always thought you wanted to turn a hobby into a entrepreneurial success story, you got this. You know, Mercury is the ruler of the money that you can earn, the intake of savings and resource monies. And so there's a lot going on here that means that a hobby or natural talent or gift through skills-based learning, right? You could always paint, but now you've learned how to paint properly. You could always sew, but now you've gotten seamstress, graduating degree. You're now on a new path. So I want you to think about what you've been learning because you're curious about it. Even astrology, you could turn that into a business off of the sky. And maybe some of that beginning of that thought process germinated for you August of 25. To now, for example, my Taurus daughter has been taking a bevy of sewing classes. She bought a sewing machine. Turns out she's a genius at it. I could see her taking that into a business side hustle in her life. See what I'm saying? Yeah, you see? I like this energy a lot if you're a writer. End of story, nothing else to be said. This is what your arms and hands do in the world. And those of you who have crafts and skills, sure. But this is also known as a writing house. And this is luck and blessings for those Taurians who are writers. Procyon here is like the executive capacity star with Jupiter at 26 degrees there. He's the one that says charging forward, to be successful in whatever you're endeavoring. In fact, the description of the software Procyon specifically says it is courage, daring, and executive capacity. Okay, going far with discipline and staying focused. So courage and daring and executive capacity, discipline and focus in the third house bring great prosperity and success for you. And Jupiter is the natural ruler, of course, of your chunky money house. So you could generate royalty income, passive income, Google ad revenue income. You can bring income through business endeavors that are generating money while you sleep kind of money. That would be nice, wouldn't it? I think that's a possibility. And if you're battling any dark forces, you know, the evil twin and the good twin of the Iroquois people up here, I can't say it again, Tehran, Iwala, Lakoko, or whatever. Some of the battles you have are about your friendship circles and groups. So I think you're going to have to pare away the dark friends and keep only the good ones. What's a dark friend? I don't know you. I don't live in your world, but friends who bring you down, who are like weeds that are killing your growth. Because the moon is the Lord of this endeavor, and it's an educational and community-based local third house energy. If you have any addiction, self-undoing, the moon is telling you it's time to Neptune, addictions, escapism, Saturn, control, contain, moon, get a handle on it. A lot of it, getting a handle on any self-undoing addictions or patterns of self-destruction will happen because of gurus, teachers, guides, or people or learnings or teachings that you're learning. And the only thing I don't like about the evil brother twins and the good brother twin, the dark and the light in the 11th house, is some friends probably aren't good for you. If you're trying to quit weed and your friends are smoking dope all day, it's not your friendship circle for a while. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if this chart also, because of what Jupiter's up to, wants you to expand and increase your local friendship circles away from just social networks and groups. The people in the third house are down the street. You know, you can go and have popcorn and Netflix, and you're sick and they come over with soup. You know, the people in your building, the people around your building, the people close to where you live. And Jupiter wants to grow and expand. Venus can be just lovely friends, beautiful, fun friends, enjoyment of friends in the local environment, or more women. And this kind of evil twin, good twin energy in the house of larger social groups is going to kind of ask you to choose between the friends that bring you up and the friends that bring you down in larger social groups of belonging. You may even begin to change some of your long-range plans and goals for your life to only invite in the good side and weed out the things that you've wanted ambition-wise that you know are, well, maybe make you rich, they won't make you happy. Same with friends. What's the ultimate blessing of hanging out with those friends? You might have a lot of fun, but you might be ill with a hangover the next day. Or you might have a friend that is rich and takes you places, but then they're always criticizing you and bringing you down. There's a lot to be said about some changes in your larger social groups, but moving towards a local community, some friends that you really enjoy in the next year. And that's true to August of next year. Now, if you're on a sobriety program, some of your community could be the sober group that you hang with, right? Or choosing friends, or even coming into real sober communities like AA. But I see like a new type of community. There's a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of wisdom. There's a lot of goodness in those friends and that community. And then there's a lot of joy and enjoyment as well. Venus is a ruler of your house of sickness, and this could indicate a shift of your health due to changes you're making in social groups. Venus is also the ruler of your sixth house of work and job and employment, and it can indicate some changes in your employment structures and employment place as well over the course of the year that this is occurring. But if you do, I'd say you're having a blast. You're really liking the work, the colleagues, the coworker space. It's fun, right? It's good for you. It's not just a job. You like the job. You like the people in the job around you. When I see this kind of thing, and if you were single and looking for a relationship as a Taurus, travel, go on short distance trips, enjoy and join into community events in your local community. Go to the bingo hall, go to the lecture at the bookstore, go to those things. This can bring destined, fated soulmate, good love, big love, high love, gorgeous love to your life. But you got to get out there and you got to meet people in the local environment. You could do online dating with this because sometimes the third house is our virtual neighborhood. Either that or you're going to go out and about and meet people. And if you do that, destined soulmate love, past life love, big love, good love could come your way in the next year. This is true till next August. It bakes in the story until next August. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. I have a progressed Gemini sun. I do relate. Never take your progressed planets and have them override your natal. They're just icing on the cake of meaning. They're important and they're a layer, but the core layer is always your birth chart. So take a class with me. You'll learn all of this. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Uranus is in your sign. Are you okay? Do you need a hug? Are you jittery? Take some magnesium supplements. High fat foods, nervous system stress, especially Gemini rising first 5 degrees. Also, you're a mad scientist. You might not be sleeping at night right now. So take some time for yourself to magnesium bath, salt scrubs, pause, rest, sleep, meditate the best you can. That aside, Gemini folk, this is mostly for the rising, what I described, but some of you Gemini suns can feel it as well. You're looking at this reset button of the Jupiter conjunction to Venus in your money house, earnings, resources, finances, savings, pocketbook, wallet. It's the money you need to have food, shelter, and water. It's the thing that feeds the body. You need this. It rises up like a spoon to the ascendant. You need food, money, shelter, water. Yes, even a tent if you're homeless. You need it. You need the resources for success. If it's not the coin or the paper, then back in the day, it's how many hens, chickens, and goats did you have to survive? So this is an important house. In a money chart, the first thing I look at is how debilitated it is, the spoon that feeds you. I mean, if it's wilted, then everything else to do with money in your chart has to work through that. That's why I want to teach Codebreaker next year. It's going to be how to mitigate difficult circumstances in your chart and work with the best of it. I haven't even got the course fully sketched out in my mind, but I'm excited by it. One of the things I want you to pay attention to is that this is about executive daring, discipline, and courage. Those energies in cardinal second house are where you're going to make the best money because of Procyon, almost like an executive business star is here. And interestingly, you experience some of these blessings, not with Procyon, though, that's new this year, but you experience the August 11th of 2025 initiation of your earnings house to potentially indicate an increase or luck or ease or effortless success or something like it when it comes to making more money. Did you experience that when you look back in the rearview mirror since last August? This is something I can attest to. I've increased my earnings significantly even since last August, partly because I hired people to help me out. But more than that, it's just that opportunities gloriously came my way and it allowed me to increase my money from my work. Because all of this flows to the North Node in the house of your 10th house of career and reputation and worldly success. Watch, though, this happened August last year. This kicks in this June 9th to next August. Watch out for that, the devil and the angel on your shoulder in your 10th house, right? The sort of the gardening gods of the weeds or the growing the vegetables from the Iroquois people. I read about him in the intro. Go listen. I can't say his name. Starts with a T. Tehran. Let's call him Tehrana. And you could be like always having to weigh the costs, right? I want to be successful and wealthy and make money. And I also don't want to fall prey to the dark impulses within me. Keep that in mind. And the dark impulses can be self-abandonment, self-neglect, that kind of thing under this kind of sky. The toll of the work, Saturn the 11th. Yes, we've got a lot of gains here, but the toll of the gains is a hefty toll. Be careful for that. Now, with your balance, and you're only planting good things that grow well, vegetables and seeds like that in the garden of your career, you could increase your wealth quite a lot this year. Venus rules the house of good fortune. This is luck in its own pure sense, her joy house. You are very lucky with your money in the next 14 months for the most part. And you could even come into winning some money under this. This is where we would speculate or gamble and come into a win. And with Jupiter ruling your 7th house, there could also be some very lucky breaks here in long-term love and romance. You could start dating somebody that this is my person, this is serious. And Venus-Jupiter could also bring you into contact with a long-term love partner. Okay, and I know it seems like what? But Venus rules the romance and falling in love, and Jupiter rules the 7th. But if that was to happen, a new commitment, long-term love partnership that could lead to marriage, weddings, and stuff like that, and moving in together, that's all going to activate 10th and 4th house stories as well. The key word is prosperity. There's something about being prosperous together. This is not you moving in with a ne'er-do-well who wants to live in your home while you do all the work. This is like a team effort. This is something that wants to come together in a way that both partners are in a team activation. Small chance that some percentage of you are ending your long-term love relationship that has been a marriage already, that you have communal property together. And this is the execution of the estate, moving, separation, divorce monies apart from each other. The good news is it goes well. The good news is it's blessed. The good news is it doesn't feel like a hardship. And that's just because of the South Node ruled by Mercury, meaning like a sort of surrender or letting go regarding the home, and Jupiter ruling the marriage commitment house and the wedding house, right? So weddings and divorces. Don't fall prey to being greedy. That would be the dark side of the Iroquois asteroid at the top of the sky. Err on the side of generosity and let the universe reward you. In a custody dispute for children, it could be that. In a situation to a shared property and home and who gets what. This is where I'm saying generosity and graciousness will reward you more than bitter disputes and vitriol under the sky. Open up your Jupiter energy, which is gratitude, gratefulness, generosity, and being magnanimous about money. The more magnanimous you are, probably the better you're going to do. Venus rules your house of charity, 12th house. Be more charitable with your money. A code is your charitability rewards you. I always have 3 going charities right now, like Doctors Without Borders is one of them, Save the Children is another, and a Wildlife Society. Put your money where you care. Be charitable. I'm giving you a prescription to all Geminis. Charitability will increase your wealth. That's a code of this particular blessing of Jupiter and Venus in your 2nd house. You had some of this back in, August 2001 and June of 2002 at about a year. So you've lived through this kind of cycle. And 1990, 78, you've had it before, never the same twice, but they should have been openings for prosperity. I would also finally say the moon, who rules the temple of herself, Cancer temple, is looking at this conjunction from the 11th house on June the 9th. It could indicate something positive, but important, like imperative. You got to move, you got to do something, and imperative energy around your own money and a sibling one older than you, your own money and friends and benefactors and patrons and allies and considerations there. Yet the moon is also in a house with Neptune, a dream come true, Saturn, of windfalls and pennies from heaven. By that, I mean, yes, like a horse race, a lottery, a casino jackpot. And with Venus ruling the house of good fortune, some of you could come into a jackpot win or a sense of pennies are raining down from the sky, but instead of pennies, they're $100 bills, right? Hopefully not with Donald Trump's face on them. And this is going to feel really good. So you could be windfall prone. Watch for falling windfalls between this conjunction and next August of 2027. That's what I've got for you. Roll with it, guys. Roll with it. Hopefully my progressed sun in Gemini gets some of that windfall and I can have success that flows effortlessly instead of being called the hardest working astrologer on YouTube. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let's talk about this. I could have started with you. I probably should have started with you. I don't know why I didn't start with you, but here we go. It's your story. Like you get this like exalted Jupiter transit for 12 months every 12 years. It started at the end of June 10th last year, and at the end of June, it's over this year. It's not always great. I get complaints from you all the time, but we had a square to Saturn for much of it this time around. But it's a Hail Mary. It'll improve your health. It'll find your health problems and fix them. It'll make you luckier. It'll give you generosity, graciousness, prosperity, and wealth. Not everyone will have it. Watch my intro on the bell curve before you complain. Well, with Jupiter here and now Venus joining in this blessed conjunction that happens on June the 9th and doesn't wane or finish up till August of 27, you got a good 14-month lucky run. But hey, as I said in the intro, it started in August 11th. Last year, you had a first pass at this. We had a rare double duty. We had double dip duty August of 2001 and June of 2002. What was going on for you in your own lucky life as you personally feel the luck and the love of Jupiter, the wisdom, the truth, and the knowledge of Jupiter, the knowingness. Some of you gained weight. Some of you got pregnant, right? That's fertility stuff and weight gain. Some of you got bigger muscles. You expanded your girth. You expanded your arm girth, bigger biceps. But this energy is what it can do to you as well. Just Jupiter there, but not Venus. Venus is like bringing the joy, the luck, the pleasure, and we're going to break it down. But I want you to think about your rising sign being your body can be impacted by these energies positively, whereas your Cancer sun, it's about your career, and moon about your home and nest. This is where it can direct itself. And this conjunction in your first house, right, ruled by the moon in the 10th house this time around, may not have been so last summer or in 2002, 2001, points to your career. It points to expansion, growth, prosperity, luck, effortless ease and flow. But you need to make major commanding decisions and take actions, right? The moon in your 10th house, especially if you work from home, especially with Venus ruling your home. Those of you who have home-based businesses, work from home, or self-employed, or are employed by a sibling, one older than you. Yeah, it's right there. The 11th house, sibling, one older, ruled by Venus. Experience potentially last year, starting August 11th, and this year ahead, greater success through those potential opportunities, or even getting an employment opportunity coming from a friend and a recommendation. So, for example, my Cancer rising sister has always worked for me, but August 11th last year till now, she's expanded her role in my company and she now makes more money. So that's now taking it to another level according to this chart. Energy-wise, the other thing about this story would be a professional move. You need to move your home because of a professional opportunity. If you're going to move your home for a professional opportunity, it's likely to occur between June the 9th and then early August of 2027. So don't be surprised if your work takes you into a place of having to relocate your home where you live. This is one of those lineups for pets in the home. Some of you may be procuring more pets or a new pet in your home over the course of this till next August. Wouldn't be surprising. Any kind of pet will do, domestic animals, small beasties. Mercury, who's tending to this conjunction and watching over it for you. Mercury is also able to bring you increases in your success connected to digital income, borderless revenue, online revenue, money generated from foreign lands, people, and shores, while you're also engaging in the internet in order to make money. And if any of you use that path, then this is very auspicious. If any of you are writers, Mercury, who's lucky with Jupiter, Venus, rules your writing third house. Jupiter rules the publishing house, and you're going to have a success. Whether that means for you finishing the book, getting it published, finding an agent, or even having a bestseller, all of these can be true. The energy of on your shoulder, the devil and the angel, the dark and the light twin up here, the Jekyll Hyde twin set of the Iroquois people. It's like choosing the highest impulse, which will be Dharma. The highest impulse is to be aligned with purpose, to move with purpose, to go in alignment with the way that your life is meant to be, rather than trying to grab a wheel and wrench it away from God. Your song should be Jesus Take the Wheel by Carrie Underwood. Go listen to it, because the more you say, I will to will thy will, I surrender to thy will, your will is my will, or Jesus Take the Wheel, then you're going to succeed. The more you try to figure out how to be the boss of your reality, I don't think it's going to work so well. That would be the darker twin. You're going to put weeds in the garden that wants to grow. So surrender to a higher power is my best advice for all of you Cancers, because if you do, instead of having the spigot of luck and success be just a dribble, or the tap doesn't have a lot of power, like those showers for the environment where there's hardly any water pressure, you can have a huge amount of water pressure. It's like your water pistol in the swimming pool of life is super powered, and you've got a huge amount of faucet flow or something. So those are mixed metaphors, but you know what I mean, right? Aperture. The difference between a fire hose and a garden hose. Do you want a fire hose of success or a garden hose? If you want a fire hose, your advice is let go, let God, pray to a higher power. Say the St. Francis of Assisi prayer. Make me an instrument of your peace, your love, your creativity. Make me an instrument. That's your call in the sky to maximize this. That's the kind of thing I want to share in Codebreaker, ways to fix the problem and maximize the goodness. So I can't wait to do that course sometime late next year. It's my most exciting new idea for myself. All right. Next thing I want to mention, and then we're done with you. We will be done. Potentially siblings in general, not just one younger than you, are very pivotal to your next 12 months, 14 months after this. It's just because Mercury rules the siblings house as a general principle. Venus rules the sibling one older. Jupiter rules that sibling two older. There's sibling energy all over this story. So the role of siblings in your life, bringing grace, goodness, luck, or something like that, or you being gracious and good and able to, and available to be supportive of siblings, is another narrative I'm seeing for you as a theme that may roll out over the next 12 months. Success flows effortlessly. Just give up the old idea that you're in charge and let God run the show, or goddess. Take your pick, and you're succeeding like you've never seen before. I sound like Donald Trump. All right, Leo, sun, moon, and rising. I am seeing for you this energy that feels very beautiful. If you are a Leo at all involved in your spiritual quest for truth, if you're someone who has a guru, wants to get a guru, go to the ashram, go on a pilgrimage, seek spiritual wisdom, liberate yourself from the illusions and become enlightened. Yeah, that's your story. Moksha all the way. Now, this doesn't mean you're going to do that. That'd be the highest expression of what this is trying to do for you. It could bring you a beautiful teacher, a female teacher, all that stuff. At a dumber level, not dumber, but a more neutral level, you could go to university or college, and you might want to do a skills-based learning rather than a higher ivory tower one. But let's go for all the levels. What's possible here is quite beautiful. There's a small chance of some chunky money coming off of this for you, but it would likely mean inheritance money and hospitals and maybe elders, especially father figures, like an elder grandparent. All said and done, but maybe I shouldn't say that. And just an elder in the system, hospitals, disposition of money from the family line coming your way, may be an occurrence that you will experience between June the 9th and August of next year. Now, you experienced something last August of 25, resetting itself this June, and it may not have had some of the things I've said. It wasn't exactly the same story, but it was close, but not quite. And you also experienced this conjunction in your 12th house back in August of 2001 and June of 2002. So you could say summer of 2001 to summer of 2003, you had some energy along these lines in your story back then as well. Okay. This is a retirement energy house quite often. The 12th house and the 8th house can bring people into retirement. I remember my Leo rising husband, father of my kids, made the decision to retire from his career at the World Bank. He was an economist, and that was something he chose to do 2001 to 2003. In fact, we moved back to Canada in 2003 summer. So if some of you, if you're old enough, you might consider that you want to get away from worldly stories, worldly success, work, especially with Mars in the 10th, even early retirement, or just, taking time off from a career path to find something new. And for some of you, it could be re-educating, going to school and finding a new path, especially with a skill that you can learn and then succeed at. So if you feel a call to re-educate yourself and that you're thinking about quitting the kind of livelihood or career that you've chosen, this will be a very successful quitting of one thing to open up something new. I can see a lot of success for some of you should you choose an entrepreneurial path, especially if you go into the online and digital world and internet with your entrepreneurship. That's another variable that could glow you up over the next 14 months. Mercury is the ruler of your great career gains house and your long-range goals and dreams. Well, he also owns the money you make, your second. So you can see that there's an intensity and a pivot around letting go of one way of making money, South Node, just stating sort of in alone solitude contemplation your next move, and leaning into something different. I guess if you were single, you might meet a new love from a distant foreign land or far offshore. That could happen under the sky. But you'll have issues with geographical distance between you and need to resolve that and find a way to make it work between the two of you. And even if you're already in a relationship and that exists, Jupiter's trying to find like legal blessings, like, yes, a green card marriage. I'm not lying. Or visa, passport shenanigans in order to find a home for you and your long distance love together. That would be a theme for some Leo rising, especially sun and moon secondarily, but all of you could be involved in that. If you're a Leo moon, it'd be homing myself with my long distance love relationship in a legal manner, figuring out the legals. Watch for the dark side, especially involving inheritances. Don't be greedy. This is like the weeds that can destroy the growth that's happening in the chunky money that could come to you. You don't want to be the weed killer on the prosperity. So this is where greed and a desperation or fear could waylay what looks like a chunky money prosperity story. That could involve making money, by the way, on digital income, borderless revenue, royalty, passive income, stock investments even. But I'm just saying, you've got to be super chill here. If you want to do speculative investments, go for it. You could be careful, though. Pigs get none. Remember, bears get some, bulls get some, and pigs get none, the old stock market phrase, because you could be finding yourself at the mercy of your own overinflated desire for money coming in easy ways. Okay. It's not the most obvious chart, but you could play a lottery ticket. Venus rules the local neighborhood. Jupiter rules good fortune. Mercury rules windfall. So you could make some money here by winning money for sure. It's a possibility. Not a probability, but it could happen. And another way is that a sibling, one older than you, is like a windfall to you. Like they're going to donate their house or back you up financially or co-sign a mortgage, that kind of thing. It feels like you've got an ally and a windfall in one when it comes to siblings in general, and specifically the one older than you. And that's what I got for you, Leos. Let me know in the comments. Do you feel into that? Does some of it feel true? Do you resonate with it? You are ruled by the sun in the house of windfalls with excitement, Uranus, but that can be money from a friend or a sibling one older. So let me know how that goes. Hey, Virgo, hopefully you're having some success flowing effortlessly. My new mantra, success flows effortlessly. And there's something about this story that is for you, that story. Because when we have that feeling that we just want to hold our hands up and say, thank you, thank you, thank you, God, because something amazing is happening that feels like wonder and awe and gratitude, because we feel like we have a windfall vibe. Life is its own windfall, but we could even have money windfalls here in your 11th house. This is like you're just grateful. Now, the gratitude attitude in the 11th house is about also seeing forward and envisioning your best life. This energy of the 11th house was waking up for you last August the 11th when we saw the conjunction of Venus at 13 degrees. And that would have benefited a lot of sun, moon, and rising Virgos the closer you were to a 13-degree ascendant or moon or sun. This time around, though, it's at 25 degrees, and it will benefit those of you who are closer to, let's say, 20 to 29 degrees sun, moon, and rising Virgo, ascendant, moon, sun. That said, it's still positive for all Virgos, no matter what. This is one of the most blessed houses in the zodiac. And it's the gains of our career. And I mean, corner office, Academy Awards, fame and fortune, influence, more money than you ever imagined. It's the direct output of the 10th house of career and reputation. As a second from the 10th, it brings you the direct gains of your career itself, from the job, the employer, the boss, everybody else. You're gaining, you're gaining, you're gaining. So what I will say is, how did you gain in your career August 11th last year to this June? So my Virgo rising daughter got a super performance review, employee of the year award, and then a massive raise. All of that happened between last August and now June the 9th in her first time at a university job. Okay. How have you benefited? What has happened for you? If you don't work or work isn't a priority, then how have you experienced this increase of satisfaction with your social groups, your friendship circles, and your long-range goals, dreams, and plans for your life? When I say windfalls, they can come in many ways as well. The windfall can be the money you owe disappears. It doesn't have to be the money you have. The debt was eliminated. Where have things looked up for you financially in almost like a windfall way? Venus and Jupiter together are extremely fortunate for you when it comes to increasing your earnings, because Venus rules your earnings, money, resources house, right? So that immediately we see the translation of that to your earnings and resources. Go back to August of 2001 and June of 2002 through to summer of 2003. So I'm going to say August of 2001 to summer of 2003, that spell was upon you, and you may have made more money than you normally do. You might have gone up, up, up in your earnings or resources, or lucky blessings, promotions and raises, and happy things happening in work. Although you may have also in that time met beautiful new friends that you felt like more blessings to you and blessings in your life. Jupiter is the ruler of your fourth house of home and property. And did you get any kind of up levels to your home that felt like you were so grateful for this windfall, like the bigger home, the more beautiful home, the more opulent home where you can entertain your friends? So my Virgo rising real estate friend completely demolished her deck last summer and built a beautiful, like, high-end patio with fancy and built-in barbecue. You know what I mean? And she's very thrifty. So it was a big deal for her. But now she loves entertaining her groups of friends, 11th, in the opulent new space in her fourth house home, Jupiter. You also might be able to consider that just a better home, a bigger home, like my daughter moved to a 2-bedroom under last year's spell, August of last year to June of this year, that allows for a greater sense of gratitude and enjoyment of your life. If you're single and this spell was upon you last August and it's back again now, both of those times could for single Virgos attract love that's destined and fated, North Node, 7th house, committed, but also connected to friends and groups of belonging. So the place to meet the new love story that brings great bounty and joy and pleasure to your life would be because you were hanging with friends, because you did things with social groups. Most likely that's how a friend introduced you. You took a blind date on the recommendation of a friend. Those Virgos who didn't have a partner since last August could have come into a new long-term partnership. It's still there. It's a promise. It can still happen again for single Virgos between this June and August of 27. The North Node baking in brings soulmate, destined, and fated new love stories, not just any old story. Watch for the devil on your shoulder when the types of people you attract. The Jekyll Hydes, the evil twin and the good twin. Like, really suss out the partners in love, business, and friendship groups that you're attracting and ask yourself, good for me or not good for me? Generating positive vibes or not? Procyon in the 11th house of career gains can indicate daring, executive capacity, discipline, and perseverance will bring you great career success with blessings that are well beyond the energy you put in. You put in like 2 ounces and 4 ounces comes out, right? It's like lucky expansion, growth in career. Positive expansion and growth in career, because Mercury is the ruler of your 10th house and he's witnessing with this story. He's witnessing. He's going to also open up the possibility of lucky and exciting career breaks, including new career opportunities. The moon, the temple lord, is looking at this device of the conjunction this year from your 8th house of chunky money. So there's a possibility of coming into some money, and Saturn and Neptune could be from an eldering figure in your life, or some passing on of legacy wealth. The 4th house Jupiter is legacy wealth, money from your family. If you get money from your family, it could be an elder female or an elder male. It can be both under this chart because of the sun's disposition from the 10th to the 12th to the 8th. Money from your upline or from your in-laws. Money from your in-laws. Absolutely. So between next August, there's a potential of reaping money from in-laws. And that was true last summer as well. When this happened in August, we had Saturn there. And I'm laughing because my Virgo rising girlfriend, she also received money from her partner's side of the family. An elder male passed away. So money from your in-laws and elders in your in-laws family was there last August until this June, and we'll be back again next year. Did I tell you to go back and look at, like, every time I say these dates, like May of 1978 or August of 1990, add about a year, okay? But then, of course, I already told you, August of 2001 to summer of 2003, this 11th house effortless spell and luck was upon you. So you've done it before. Try to compare notes. It's not the same because back then you didn't have the nodes of fate in your sign and across the way, but it's got some similarities as a bedrock meaning. All right, Libra, you can tell I'm putting my heart and soul into this, and I need a chocolate break. And are you surprised? But I'm going to wait. I'm going to go to Scorpio for my chocolate break. So Libra, it is your career that has been trying to glow up. Beginning last August, when Jupiter and Venus joined in your 10th house. And it's back for a round 2 on June 9th of this year until August of 27, baking in another round of career amplitude. Things are bigger, larger, more opulent, more successful, more prosperous, and more expansive in your reputation and career. Now, if you're not married, this is a house of weddings, and Venus, Jupiter together can indicate you're going to propose, get married, or consider a legal wedding in this window of time. This also can bring you an incredible height of visible success. It can bring recognition, even fame with Venus. And that could be true, like you become really well known. And this will really positively impact you Libras who are between 20 and 29 degrees sun, moon, and rising degrees, but all Libras feel it nonetheless. Mercury rules your ninth house of book publishing. Jupiter rules the house of writing and the online social media sphere. So big success in promoting a book, publishing a book, writing and publishing, promoting books, book publishing, whatever. These are like a bonanza of public success. And especially with the North Node flowing from the house of livelihood and work or employees, all of that increases a sort of love up in your career story. And it could involve the industries I just mentioned as well. You want to go back, of course, and compare notes to perhaps, because you won't get this till 2037, compare notes to like how your life felt August of 2001, reset button, June of 2002. So like August of 2001 to summer of 2003, depends on your age. Did you have a career glow up? Did you have weddings and marriage proposals? Did you increase your employer stories? Did you hire more employees? Did you find yourself at that time maybe doing a lot of traveling for your work? That could also indicate travel, international or domestic for your work, right? Roadshow, on the road, something like that. Busy, busy, busy. Anyway, it's back again. Venus rules you. She wants nothing but the best for you. Mercury also rules your 12th house. Maybe some pilgrimages, long distance, like El Camino vibe, checking out the ashrams over the next year, making digital income and borderless revenue through your career space could happen. The moon is witnessing this glow up in your 10th house, and she's witnessing it from your 7th. And it's her temple that Jupiter is operating in, and Venus. I think that the moon's perspective on this is that she's trying to get you married or to meet somebody that you want to partner with in business or long-term love. If you already have someone in your life as a business partner or long-term love, then you're going to consolidate it to the next level, including legally, to legally bind the business partnership, to legally bind the relationship. Your significant other, should you already have one, right, is going to play a big role in supporting you to advance to new levels of career ambition and success, but also push you and shove you sometimes to consider everything about being successful. One of the risks is this Jekyll Hyde, dark twin good brother, the weed killer twin in the Iroquois twins of the story in the intro. Go back and watch it. This could be, I think, when the weeds come into the 6th house of work and livelihood, it's what are the darker impulses that drive us for success? And are you following a more true and good impulse? Because sometimes, the cost of success isn't worth it, right? That's what I'm trying to get at. And you might be trying to measure the cost, and don't get lost in the worldly drive to more employees, more success, more servitude, more job expansion. Yeah, sure, I'll take on that extra district, and you already have, like, say, your salesperson, a huge swath of territory you can barely keep up with. You really have to, like, ask yourself, is it worth it? There's that energy in the 6th house, 10th house energy field right now for you, and all the way through till next August. And that's what I've got for you. I really don't see much else. I mean, enjoy your success. The star, Procyon, perseverance, discipline, ambition, daring, executive capacity. Like, I don't know what you're doing. If you're in corporate, you want to move you up, become a vice president or take over this entire division. If you're on your own and entrepreneurial, it's just your own ingenuity is leading to greater levels of everybody noticing you as some kind of powerful success story, actually. So that's what I see. Like, you're up in the top of the sky, taking your bow. Thanks, Libra. This is time for a chocolate break. Don't forget, if you're new to my channel, give me a try. Like and subscribe and share me and hype me and see what you like and don't like. A lot of you leave my channel because I talk world astrology, but you forget that I also talk more of the spiritual and the psychological energy. So give me a try, because you can get a smorgasbord on the menu here. You can get everything from your, pizza to your Dom Perignon caviar moment. So try me out and see what you think, and give me a try. And meantime, I'm going to get my chocolate bar midway through to encourage my body to keep moving and talking, because I'm packing at the same time, as I mentioned. So it's an intensity here. on May the 25th. I'll be right back. All right, Libra, I just had great chocolate. I had this brand I love with Italian brother and sister team who made it. And no, they're not, I'm not a sponsor for these guys. Oh my God, but I should be. I want to get in touch with them. I think they make the best hazelnut chocolate bars I've ever had. Like, seriously. A little bit of a hit there on the old theobromine to get my brain feeling like I'm in the Garden of Eden as we get going to talk about the Scorpio onwards and finish up our narrative today for this incredibly powerful reset button as Jupiter and Venus come together in the sky in the sign of Cancer on June the 9th. This Cancer sky for Scorpios is your ninth house. What is the ninth house? God, the house of God, spirituality, religion, gurus, pilgrimages, temples and oracles of Delphi, universities and ivory tower institutions, legal and courts and judges and judgments, red tape and bureaucracy, visas and passports, long distance travel, father figures, and ultimately wisdom and knowledge, and more importantly, dharma, the life path, the life purpose, the direction you're here to go in life, to be aligned with one's purpose. Think of that St. Francis prayer, Lord, make me an instrument of your, he says peace, but you might want to be an instrument of any joy, creativity, prosperity, be an instrument for the divine. So Jesus, take the wheel to me is your ninth house, right? God, take over. God, I give up. It's all, this is yours. It's yours to take over. And that energy is being activated here. And it was activated for you already. Scorpio sun, moon, and risings last August 11th. 2025, it resets itself on June the 9th, 2026. Last August, this energy took place at 13 degrees. So Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising, close to 13 degrees, 3 or 4 degrees on either side. Yeah, you felt it. This next one is 25 degrees. I'd say 20 to 29 degrees, Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. You feel it, okay? But you all feel it anyway, both times, just more precision hit, depending on the degree of your sun or your moon or your rising. And if you watch my intros, I explain what the difference is between those three positions. You know, to me, when I see Jupiter here, he's in his joy, the house of his joy. He is literally, the guru is in the home. The guru is in the house. Is that your rabbi, your rebbe, your mullah, your priest or pastor? Is that your therapist, your guide, your mentor? Is that your business coach? Who is up there for you? Because Jupiter is that kind of vibe. It's also the hand of the king, who's your best buddy, sidekick, who helps you succeed because you're the one in charge. This executive assistant energy is here to support you. And Venus is here with Jupiter to double down on the support structures. Quite often when people have anything going on up there with Jupiter transiting normally, and he's been exalted up there since last June 10th, there's a blessed feeling of being more on purpose, or more willing to allow for the surrender to purpose in our lives. This opens up fertility and pregnancy stories, especially with the North Node of Fate in the 5th house, not only last August, but now. My Scorpio rising sun, for example, has now got a baby in the oven with his wife. The first time for them, I'd be my first grandchild. And that was an exciting development. From August of 25's conjunction, for by October, there was a baby conceived by my son and his wife. I feel like a lot of you might want to conceive things still. You can conceive a creative project, an artistic project, a book. You can conceive an entrepreneurial endeavor. The generative and the energy to conceive, to generate, and to birth into being is powerful for you now. And what is it you really want to birth into being? Go a little deeper than the surface under this kind of sky. You won't get it back until 2037. You may as well use it while you have it, or you could lose it. It is here to benefit you greatly in a water trine capacity. It also can bring you grandchildren. If you have children who are adults, this is a very welcome to your grandchildren moment, right? So more grandchildren coming through for sure. If you are a female who could give birth, this brings blessed, easy, wonderful, successful pregnancy and birth, childbirth, laboring. The midwife is a superstar, right? She just touches you and says, voila, and the baby comes out and you didn't even notice. Okay, it was painless, you know? So beautiful childbirth energy for Scorpio women here who are pregnant or getting pregnant this like until next August. I think that the energy is also speaking a lot to the potential for a powerful direction towards pilgrimages. Venus rules your 12th house of moksha liberation. And this would be, I'm going to India to find a guru, or I'm going to do the Camino and find myself. There's a call here. It calls you to it's like the judgment card, the resurrection card in the major arcana, where the angels are trumpeting and people are rising from the grave. The grave you rise from is the grave of meaninglessness. A life without meaning is a life that you will, on your old lady man, tombstone or rocking chairs, regret. We all will. But this guy keeps reminding you of that. Some of you will be called to go off and educate yourself, particularly ivory tower, higher educational settings, not just local, how-to community colleges. If you are all involved in the publishing industry, this could bring you some success. If you've longed to be in a position of work where you're working for like second in command to like Jeff Bezos or something, someone who's like a king-like power in the world, and you're like working in like the C-suite, so to speak, at Google, if you're in that realm of a hand of the king or queen, then and that's the realm you want to be working in, then you will. But again, the ninth house calls for meaning, humanitarianism, purpose, international impact, big things like that for some of you. Venus is also, right, the ruling planet of your 7th house of long-term love and marriage. I wonder if some of you who are single could be traveling internationally or getting involved in spiritual communities or doing a pilgrimage and meet somebody, find somebody to love. Isn't that from Queen? I just want to find somebody to love. You know that song? I can't sing it because I'm not Freddie Mercury, but I think it's Freddie Mercury singing that somebody to love song for you. And if you need someone to love because you're all alone in the world, then you're going to have a blessed communication with, like a blessed alignment with someone who sees life through the spiritual ideology or lens of meaning that's familiar to you. If you always said, I could only marry another Catholic, and you actually meet one, like that kind of weird stuff. But also the North Node in the 5th house, Jupiter rules your 5th house of love and romance, and Venus exalts it. And it all leads back to commitment in your 7th house. So I'm wondering if you're going to find a committed love of a lifetime between now and next August. There was a potential for that last August as well. August of 11 to June of this year. That could have already happened for some of you. And because we have this asteroid for the dark and light, the weed-killing evil twin of the garden and the good brother twin who nurtures and plants the seeds, where are you looking at this dichotomy between the dark and the light in your creative impulse, in your entrepreneurial impulse, in your procreative and creative impulses? I don't know how to parse that one, but it's interesting, right? Follow the good twin, follow the angel, not the devil on your shoulder. Your children may be a part of this story as well. They may be going through some major changes that are quite positive, off to university, moving to another country. I mean, things like that can happen as well if you have grown children. Mercury rules your house of windfalls. Venus is the joy lord, exaltation goddess of the house of good fortune, your 5th. Possibly there's a windfall coming your way with Mercury ruling the chunky money 8th house with electric shock and awe Uranus. However, chunks of money coming your way are more likely to come rather than winning a lottery ticket from this chart, more likely to come, not always true, through legal judgments, courts connected to inheritances. Okay, and look for that possibility, especially regarding inheritances from father figures. So men that are authoritative that you look up to, like great Uncle John or great Grandpa Joe or my elderly father. And with Pluto, the wealth god and legacy wealth, trining that sun, yeah, I think this bakes in the potential for you to have some significant family wealth transfer to you or property by the end of by early August of 2027, beginning on June 9th this year. The moon is witnessing this conjunction, and she's witnessing it from the 6th house, which is a debt house, a work house, and a pet house. Now, unless you're going to import a foreign animal like a Chihuahua from Mexico, it's not probably a pet, but because Venus does rule the 12th house of distant shores and there's foreign lands involved, it means some of you might be down for getting a rescue animal from another country. That could be a story. Otherwise, you might be also very focused on property rental opportunities that feel fortunate and lucky and could open up a big golden opportunity for a new property opportunity rental. Maybe a little bit also, you could find yourself looking at the idea of renting your own property out and garnering lease money, like from tenant servants, And it wouldn't surprise me if some of you have a home or a property that you either own or rent, but you can sublet it. So you may be choosing to rent a property out, right? Rather than be the tenant. Your work life, like your job, your work environment, your work routines belong to the sixth house, as well as your health. But from this perspective, it's most likely two things. There's a strong call to educate yourself on improving your dietary habits and styles to improve your health, especially health connected to Aries matters, which can be the head. But also with Saturn, teeth and bones, and maybe bony structures. On the other hand, you might also be looking at, with Jupiter's rulership of your income house and the moon witnessing this transition, this conjunction, she owns your temple of Cancer from the work house. I'm wondering if some of you might be coming into a significant change in your work environment over the course of now till next August. I think you could even look at this like a golden financial opportunity emerges that allows you to leave a work situation that felt emotionally draining, exhausting, constrictive, and hard. So my son will take paternity leave. Maybe he won't go back to that job. Maybe he realizes after that he wants something different. That's just an example, right? But I can see it in this chart. There could be a change of work environment as the moon, temple lord, wants you to find this instead. Meaning, purpose, alignment, maybe re-education, maybe a job opportunity connected to foreign people or foreign lands or foreign countries or foreign companies. Okay, but something about this emotional stress in the workplace wants to change between now and next August. Maybe you're just working too hard. Yeah. You could pay off a debt here. If you have money you owe the credit card, the bank, kaboom, sudden, shocking, surprising opportunity to eliminate that debt anytime between this June and next August. Don't forget, if you go back in a time travel machine, you'll see that on August of 2001 and June of 2002. So therefore, August of 2001 to summer of 2003, you went through this energy of expanding Jupiter, Venus, this part of your sky already. You've done this before. I think with Mercury here, he says, let go, surrender a particular source of income from a type of job and lean into let go, let God, and Jesus take the wheel. I think some of you are coming into money from a father figure, but not all of you will. Father figures could be a boss who loves you, but there's just something there for some of you. I guess it could involve in-laws and their money, but it's more likely your own family under the sky, in my opinion. All right. So that's what I have for the Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. And if you do feel like you want to take a pilgrimage, travel the world for spiritual adventure or seeking God, then this is a sky that says by next August, that kind of trip would be very, very well suited to who you are at this time. And you don't get that kind of glow up, maybe finding your true guru until 2037. So it's time to go seeking and maybe finding. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Jupiter rules you, just like it rules Pisces. When Jupiter is in Cancer exalted, you benefit for roughly a year every 12 years. Last time Jupiter moved through Cancer, back in 2013, I think. How was that? Now, Jupiter moving last year, 2025, through to 2026 is your high point on your chunky money. What does that mean? Well, it's a story where you could profit. And Venus is joining Jupiter, of course, during that transit. She did that last August, and she did it again on June the 9th. What kind of profit? Well, with the North Node of Fate, particularly this time around, unlike August of 2001 through to summer of 2003 with a double dip conjunction, this time the North Node says legacy wealth, expansion of property and land, real estate, parental money, family of origin, upline money, growth, expansion, and prosperity. That started to activate last August on the 13-degree Cancer conjunction, and now it's reinitiating on June 9th at 25 degrees of Cancer. Some of you might come into money from your in-laws or from your own family in terms of inheritance type monies. Watch for greed and struggle, especially with the two fish, and the evil twin and the good twin fighting over money, basically. Okay. Particularly if you're going to squabble about money with a sibling older than you, in particular, under the sky, a sibling one older than you. So if you have an elder sibling, one above you, watch for the fights. Do not go there. It's not worth it. It ain't worth it. So this is the evil twin gets greedy. You or the evil twin could be someone else, like your sibling who's one older. But again, it doesn't have to look that way. So the warning signals here for you about squabbling over family of origin, legacy, wealth, monies, or even in-law monies coming in. Some squabbles with siblings somehow. Energy-wise, I think that the main point here, because chunky money isn't your earnings, has nothing to do with your paycheck or your job. It has to do with the money that comes because it paid off in an investment. It paid off in royalty income, derivative, passive, book royalty money that comes from a sale of a property, money that comes from inheritance, money that comes from spousal separation agreements and divorces. All of those kinds of other people's money under income are activated for a glow up. And yes, last August 11th until now. And now again, June 9th till August of 2000. And yes, 14 months, financial glow up. Not too bad. No complaints, right? Are you happy? I hope. Sign-on bonuses, severance packages, and money connected to work and livelihood, or money it allows you to pay down debt or eliminate debt, that kind of thing as well. Because Venus is ruling your 6th house. Jupiter rules that 4th house of land. Venus exalts it. So if you're going to buy a home, it's exalted. If you're going to sell a home, you get exalted gains from it, perhaps. However, in the property sale of a home, there may be disappointment in terms of financially how much you can get. I will give you that because of Saturn in the gains of the 4th, in the 5th. The moon is witnessing this conjunction in the 8th house. I know I sounded contradictory, but both can be true. The moon is witnessing the gains. The moon is witnessing the conjunction in your 8th house from the 5th house of good fortune, which can mean winning money. And Venus rules the house of windfalls. Now, it doesn't have to be literal, but you are potentially one of those signs that could buy a ticket and win some money, or go to the casino and win some significant money during this next 14 months ahead. That said, it can be money connected to many things. Money from your children, money connected to your children coming through, money from a friend or a sibling one older. Mercury rules your 7th house. That's your spouse or your business partner, usually. If you're already married and Mercury's midwifing this conjunction, there may be a separation agreement pending or a divorce on the way. And this could be about the blessed ending, but the way you separate, hopefully, if you thought, oh my God, if I get a divorce, I'll never get the house, your partner's, no, you can have the house. Like there's like luck or ease or goodness in how you might separate your joint assets with a marriage partner. And it may happen swiftly out of the blue. One day you're married and 3 months later you're not, or you're separating, but it's going to go well. Mercury rules that 7th house. And we got the shock and awe of Uranus there as well. Yeah. And especially true if your partner is of a foreign country, foreign nationality, foreign language, something different about the two of you. That kind of marriage partnership may indeed respond to a ending under the sky. But I'd say a blessed ending in terms of ease of financial separation is what I might hope for this the most. Health challenges that you were unable to fix. Hidden health challenges or health challenges you couldn't get the right diagnostic on, or they were troubling you for a long time, especially shoulder pain, neck pain, or issues with your shoulder, neck, maybe even throat, can be resolved. You probably will have to have surgical procedures here, but it will be like a blessed, lucky breakthrough that you suddenly see a solution to the problem that has ailed you, and you allow for the healing afterwards. And it's almost like you have a team of spirits from the spirit realm or dead people cheering on your improvement of your health over the course of this next 14 months and coming up with this, golden solutions, but also maybe involving something sharp penetrating you like a scalpel, but all should go pretty well. But be conservative, take your time, don't rush for it. But shoulders, neck, some Taurian energy in the house of sickness, ruled by Venus with blessed Jupiter, everything should go well. All right. Everything should go well. If you're a solopreneur and you're not incorporated, this sky will try to get you to incorporate, bring new structures to your entrepreneurial business that allow for greater retention of wealth. So consider the possibility that you could be an incorporation by next August in order to retain earnings in your sky. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. I like the sky when it's so piled up across the sky from you, because that is a house of other people that are important to you. Normally, we'd say business partners, audience, marketplace, or your marriage partner. Seventh house conjunction with beautiful Jupiter and Venus in the house of committed love. And we have Pollux, a star of great power. It could be that your significant other is doing really well in their executive capacity and discipline to be a business success story in life or something like that, or trying to anyway. But there's something going on either in the relationship or in the life of the other in your life that's very powerful. It started last August 11th. It kicked into the conjunction at 13 degrees. So Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising closer to 13 degrees might have seen some of this more connected to their partner. A Capricorn moon, you might have moved to a bigger home or better home with your partner. We'll get to that last year. Then June the 9th this year until next year, early August of 2027, you have a second chance. And the second time around, the closer your sun or moon or rising is to 25 degrees and a half or so of Capricorn, the more you feel it. So it really impacts you more intensely or boldly. So 20 to 29 caps, you're really getting a dose of this energy. And it really is about expansion. All Jupiter cares about is a bigger footprint, a more generous, magnanimous footprint, to expand what he touches, good or bad. And to expand in a marriage house is to expand the relationship with somebody you're committed to. And sometimes that kind of expansion can look like getting married, getting engaged, moving into a home together, buying a home together, is kind of expanding the legal qualities of the relationship to more formal commitment structures sometimes. And when Venus is a ruler of your 10th house of marriage and weddings, there's also that. So for a lot of you, you go from dating to like committed love to moving into engagement. You're growing it into a bigger, better story, right? A more magnificent story. Potentially here with the moon witnessing this, it's a move in with someone's story, cohabitate, buy a home with, because the moon in the 4th house of where you live, making maybe a dream come real, Neptune, Saturn, healing a chironic wound of where you belong. You could move into a home courtesy of another. A buyer who's rich and wealthy comes to buy your home, and you're blessed by that, and you're celebrating that in the next 14 months. There could be a change of home because you get a contract or legal agreement for a new job that surprises you, comes out of the blue. Mercury is a ruler of job and work. We have Uranus solar energy. We have the energy of Venus ruling your 10th house of visible reputation, career, the moon witnessing from the 4th house with Saturn, like grim reaping, a significant change of where you live, but maybe connected to professional opportunity between now, June 9th, and early August of next year. Remember, baking in a story, like in baking in something into a kiln or firing it up and it's in play. It's like an electional energy. I kind of wonder, with a North Node in the 3rd house, in trine to the 7th, if some work will require travel, changing your city or your town. Mercury says even your country. Increased wealth through siblings may occur. In this case, the siblings engaged most likely are a sibling 2 older or 3 older, 3 younger or 4 younger, and an increase to your own wealth via those siblings for some reason. You might notice that you have a devil on your shoulder angel regarding your ideas, the way you communicate, your creative projects, your online world, or sibling relationships. That might not be you. Could be a sibling, a little Jekyll Hyde to that sibling, or cousin or extended family member. But ultimately, there's an increase of wealth. Watch for the other person's kind of on-off switch, Jekyll Hyde's dark and light sides. It's probably not yours. I'm getting that song by Katy Perry, Hot and Cold. You're hot and you're cold, you're in and you're out, you're up and you're down. I mean, who is like that? Was that a sibling? Was that a younger sibling? Was that a cousin? And it could be, this could indicate a sibling, as I already told you guys, right? I'll say it again. 2 older, 3 older, 3 younger. Did I get them all? Yeah. Anyway, my brain's fired off. 4 younger. Okay. Venus rules your romance house. Mars is like plowing through there with his bulldozer, baking in a kind of weirdness here. There's a flow between Venus and Mars. It could indicate, if you're single especially, a simmering new romance that builds slowly over time and connects to friendship and forms a lasting bond or union. For dating, it's not an overnight success story. It plods along and builds and builds and builds. And by next August, you will have built a committed love from a dating story or from a non-committed narrative. Part of that Mars story here would be also about cutting and ending in a relationship if needed and opening the gates or doorway to a new one. Venus is all about weddings, guys. In this chart, she's like got your 10th house of weddings all going and and Jupiter says legalize it. So whether you get a wedding or a JP, I don't care. There's something going on in long-term love that exists that pulls you that way. But if you're not with somebody, then the narrative is trying to drive you by next August into a relationship that you can sink your teeth into, settle down into, and continue to work on it over time and know that you can trust that time is your friend in this story. You're not investing in a dead end. You know you're investing in a long game. That's the Mars-Venus energy here, to push forward in a consistent manner with love and know that the pushing forward brings the results you're looking for. So it's worth grinding into commitment is what it looks like, rather than giving up in relationships. Certainly, because of a long-term love, committed love, or romantic love relationship, you might move your home. Yes. Or you can meet somebody because you're doing long distance or short distance travel as a Capricorn, and your new person comes in, and this becomes, again, slow build, like slow build, right? Slow burn. You might think you're just friends. Sextiles bring friendship between Mars and Venus. But then you realize one day, like a rom-com, your best friend is your real one. That's the one you want to be with. That's the vibe here. There's no retrogradation going on here. So it's not likely old relationships resurfacing necessarily. You know what I mean? Sometimes I want to look for that, but everybody's in forward direction at the onset here. So this is moving in new directions, not going back, or with new people in relationship. Lastly, Jupiter rules your 12th house, could bring you into relationship with geographical separation issues. Someone lives in a different city, a different part of the country, a different state, different nation, and you'll have to work on ways to resolve that together. Mercury says the same thing. And that would be looking at legal ways to bring people together over geographical separation, especially if it involves international borders. And the perseverance and the application of perseverant discipline to bring that into fruition will result in success from now until next August. All right, Aquarius, I am one of you, sun, moon, and rising sign. How are we doing in this epically long video? But what can you do? It's a big deal. It's guidance for your next year, not for a day in the life of. So remember, when this conjunction happens, it sets something in motion over the next, in this case, 14 whole months. This is a conjunction of Jupiter and Venus in your 6th house of health and work, employees, employment structures, pets, and rental properties. This happened on August the 11th last summer at 13 degrees, and now it's happening at 25. This is not brand new. You will not get this until 2037, but you did experience this August of 2001 and June of 2002, for example. And then you get, say, in essence, August of 2001 to August of 2003, what happened? I'm going to use me as a rising Aquarius just as an example, because I can explain how it worked. And I'm giving proof of concept to you, not all about Lori. I'm reading your sign to you, gnarly commenters. But I moved my home. Venus rules your home, property, land, and real estate. She's in the house of rentals. Mercury's there, which also allows for purchases, because he usually attends this conjunction, not always, but he can. So a change of home connected to rental or purchases can happen for you, not only August 11th of 25 until June 9th, but June 9th of 2026. Lori is moving to a new, bigger, better, opulent, more luscious rental home. She's moving now. The boxes are behind her. This was incited by the August 11th conjunction, and I'm moving before June 9th. That concerns me because June 9th I can move again by August of 27, and I probably will. Long story. But If I go back to August 5th of 2001 to like, I think it would have been July of 2003, I moved back to Canada, my home and native land from the United States. We bought a house, my ex-husband and I moved into a new place and a new town and a new city. Doesn't surprise me because Venus is a ruler of the house of international. So I'm trying to give you an example of how this actually works, and you can rely on it to be very, very accurate. Venus brings extraordinary blessings here in the sixth house for your health. And so does Jupiter. And so health problems find solutions and you are healed. Yea, be healed. Now that started to be true in August of 25, and it continues to be true this June until August of 27. This is a good time to heal your health. And Jupiter and Venus are activating your second house of what you put in your mouth and nose, second house, face. That can include dietary changes that really restore the vitality to your life. And some of you may have experienced some of that change last August of 25 till now, and you're going to do it again June of 9th to next year, August of 27. So you improve your health often by dietary habit changes. That's what the code of the sky is. So focus on what goes in, and you are what you eat, that old 1970s meme, you are what you eat. So eat well. Eat well, find good, healthy nutrition, know what your body needs. Not all bodies are the same. I'm a B blood type. They need different types of food than an A. Go read the blood type diet book. I'll tell you, it made a big difference in my reality. I also went paleo years ago. There's certain things you need to think about. I love legumes. I can't eat them. I love eggplant or nightshades. I can't eat them. I want you to think about anything wrong with your health. My fellow Aquarians, it's all connected to your ingestion and dietary habits, especially your microbiome, your gut, and your stomach cancer storylines. All right. And if you have a mammary problem, anything with your breasts as a woman, Jupiter will find the solution, right? Venus is there to guide the healing process. So if you do come across one of those stories where, oh no, they thought there was something wrong with my mammary gland, you'll find a solution. All will be well. Now, one thing about Mercury, and you did this, as I said before, you also did it August of 1990 at a year, May of 1978 at a year. You can go and compare. I moved to home 1990 to 91, right? I moved from DC to Washington, DC. I went from New York City to Washington, DC, August 12th of 90 to 91. The stuff works. It works. It keeps moving us because of our sixth house, fourth house, eighth house axis. Venus not only rules your fourth house of home, property, and real estate, right? She does. She's in the house of pets. And sometimes this can lead to new animals coming into your domicile and into your home. So I want you to tune into that possibility that you might be coming into pet land. I certainly got a new animal. Yes, I did. August of 2001 to summer of 2003. That was a new animal. A new pet came into the life of me and my family. You might be looking at the idea of a more beautiful rental property, or beautifying your rental property, expanding a rental property, finding a tenant for your property. You can't believe it. 2001 to 2003, I found a tenant to rent one of the rooms in the house that we moved into. So you'll get pets and tenants, or you'll become a renter, all of that. Now, energy-wise, your sixth house is employees. Some of us have employees or people working for us, assistants or helpers or servants. In increase or expansion of your servants, your employees. It's funny, in 2001 to 2003, the renter in the home became a babysitter for my son so I could take a course I wanted to learn, a real estate course. So you're going to find things happen like this where you end up with a kind of, a tenant servant in your home. But you definitely can find yourself under this kind of sky, hiring more employees and being prosperous and benefiting from them, because Venus exalts your earnings and Jupiter owns your earnings, your second house. Be careful for the dark, shoulder, angel, devil, the dark weed, the one that plants the weeds and the one that plants the seeds, right? Part of you when it comes to money. Don't plant dark seeds. Like a dark seed in the money kingdom, or a weed that would kill the things that are trying to grow, would probably be an overambition for worldly success and financial gain at the expense of something much more important to you. And Venus says meaning, purpose, and dharma. And then if you let go of that, I need to be aligned, and Jesus, take the wheel. St. Francis, make me an instrument of your blank, creativity, whatever, peace, love. Then you're going to find that you're going to notice that you've planted seeds that are now being killed off by the weed killer side of the godhood, the devil. So be careful, whatever. This is the dark and light in the money-making house. Go watch the intro to learn more about that asteroid, the Iroquois god of the dark and the light, the chaos and the good. Jupiter rules your 11th house. This is your career gains specifically. The second from the 10th are the gains. You experience fame, fortune, influence, Academy Awards, more money, corner office, elevation. So your gains of your career are amplituded up by this conjunction in the work house. Okay? But this is also what you dream into being. It is your wish fulfillment house. And you want to wish for things that bring pleasure and joy in the work you do, and better health and vitality in your reality, and lean into meaning and purpose above all. And when you do those visionary dreams for what you want to acquire and achieve, then you are going to succeed. For a very few of you, a sibling one older could lead to greater wealth somehow in your life, or a sibling one older who has a debt they owe you money, or a sibling two older, or even a sibling two younger. You could get money from those siblings that like they owe you and now it's coming back at you. Maybe. I think that with Mercury as like the midwife for this, and don't forget, you got Procyon here this year, not last year. Executive capacity, daring, discipline and perseverance in worldly and business success. Good for us. But also we have Mercury here. He is very much a commercial transactional dude, right? Market, sell, sales funnels, anyone, message, communicate, negotiate. Okay. He's there in your workspace. Good for sales jobs for sure. Good for promotion as well. But having Mercury here, witnessing this, he can translate some of the blessings to your 5th house of entrepreneurship or good fortune. And Jupiter owns the house of windfalls, your 11th. So there's a small case for a light touch case for maybe winning money, like a lottery win. Mercury rules your chunky money house. And the gains of the North Node could come in a form of a win, like a bingo hall, a lottery ticket, a casino, payout. You never know. Speculative gambling and lucky breaks with money may occur here. Suddenly, out of the blue, swiftly, shockingly. I would say that all the way from June the 9th, this is when it's happening. The charts progress a day. Anywhere from June the 9th, let's move ourselves back to June the 9th. Through to next August, you could have some lucky financial wins. Okay? So the moon is witnessing it from the Aries house. That's why it's going forward. So on the 9th, the moon will be witnessing her temple, having this blessing. Brings lots of blessings in the online social media landscape. That community, the moon is, I shouldn't cover this for everyone else, but the moon is a waning gibbous moon, the shaman moon. You're going really deep here. And it has to do with writing and communicating and teaching and scrying and divining and social media and media in general. And Venus rules the publishing house. And I think a few of you, I hope I do, will put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard. And some of you may begin to write something that's very healing and heal the chironic wound in the house of writing. And then putting form and structure and words to what you want to say. And it amplitudes into the house of publishing itself. And that could be Substack as well, but it can definitely be books, will lead to greater success in your money and your career. So that's something that's very heartening for me as a writer who ended up being a YouTube content creator. All right. Your health is best served by daily routines that really strengthen your body under the sky. And Jupiter's trying to give you education or learning in new ways to work out or eat your food or, fix your body. So you're going to find that like you get gurus or teachers or guides that instruct you or tell you what you didn't know. You'd be really good under this guy to do more workout energy close to home with guidance and instructors, right? Than do it on your own, right? Like you go to a workout class and the instructor's there, or even a personal trainer under this guy, than you are to try to figure it out by yourself. Because you have a lot of like instructional health improvements here, including working out, especially in the local dojo or close to home. Like I say dojo because a little martial arts energy going on here, but slow, like Tai Chi or Tai Chi Cha or Qigong, that kind of thing. If you've been thinking of any of those, because I've been thinking of doing Qigong, then this is your ticket to increasing your vitality and success between now and next August. That's my advice to you. I don't see any really red flags or warning symbols at all. This could be a dating house. You could start dating somebody that you meet this year, potentially close to home, potentially connected to sudden infatuation with someone close to home, or introduced by friends in social groups and settings. And that could lead you, or professional environments, and all of those could lead you into a new dating scene. It's likely not to be fully, if it's brand new, committed. Like, I don't see moving in together necessarily, but a lot of back and forth between two people's homes if you start dating someone and you're single between now and next August. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. Okay, you're a water sign like Scorpio and like Cancer. So you're benefiting greatly by this water flow as the fifth house is lit with luck. Technically, it's your progenerative stuff. Like, I'm making babies, I'm procreating, I'm creating, I'm artistic, I'm muse inspired, I'm generating a business, I'm generating children, I'm generating ideas and creative and art. And you're doing your thing here. It's your natural talents and gifts are expanding and growing, and they're creating profitability for you. You're born for this, You're born for this. Now you're getting that proof of concept. I don't care if you work as an accountant, but you're a real actor. This could open up the doors for acting. So the real things that you're here to do, because you're good at it, they're expanding. Now, this started up last August, right? When we had the August 11th conjunction at 13 degrees. And so Aries, Pisces, sun, moon, and rising near 13 degrees, you really felt this. This was your thing. You've got this. And then now it's for those of you closer to 25 degrees, which is going to indicate 20 to 29, Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. You're really feeling this, but you all feel it. This energy was back in the past. Let's go back in time, please. Yes, it was August of 1990 and May of 1978, add about a year. But it was also August of 2001 and June of 2002. Therefore, August of 2001 to summer of 2003, that's a good comparison for this time, those 2 years. Where were you expanding in your fifth house? Did you get pregnant? Did you give birth to a child? Did your children give birth to children? Did you conceive a new business, start a creative project, birth something into reality? Did you actualize your talents and gifts? Did you experience a tremendous amount of good fortune? Because Jupiter, luck in the house of good fortune, Venus and her joy here is exceptional. So here we go again. You're going to feel more of it June 9th to August of 27th next year, 2027. Certainly you can get grandchildren coming out of this, or you could get children, depends on your age and your partner's age and whether you're making babies at this age or not. But you can, birth a lot of stuff into being here. And it's a house of where you connect with your divine spark, inspiration, and enthusiasm for life. Why do you get out of bed in the morning? That's this house. You're feeling inspired. Venus rules your house of writing, divining, scrying, oracleizing, teaching, learning, social media landscape, regular media. You get a lot of media appearances in the old days. You'd be on CBS or something because you're a talent, an artist, a creator. You're writing. This is great for writing. In fact, this chart specifically supports steadfast endurance in writing projects that lead to great success in publishing outcomes over this time until next August. This is being witnessed by the moon. It's happening in her temple. She's in your money and earnings and resources. She's helping you want to make more money through your spark of inspiration, your creativity, your entrepreneurial business endeavors, your natural talents and gifts. She wants to do it in a steadfast, reliable, well-paced way. She's with Saturn, but she's there to say, make some money dreams come true. And you've got until next August to pull it off. Jupiter, he's the big guy, right? He's a ruler of you. He's the boss of you. He's trying his best. Don't be greedy. There's the Iroquois god of the brother that planted the seeds and the brother that put the weed killer in there. So the angel and the devil archetype, the chaos and the good is here. And you're your own worst enemy, Mr. and Mrs. Fishy Tails, going back and forth like that, yay, nay, up and down. You go this way, I'll go that way. That fishy tail thing is quite indeterminate. It's a mutable sign. So you might have to watch out for the flux that you're capable of despair and hope and despair and hope, back and forth about whatever you're trying to do in your life. Jupiter is a ruler of your 10th house. He's in the house of romantic love. Mercury's there, rules your marriage house. If you're single, you can meet somebody that you want to commit to. You fall in love and make a commitment in a long-term committed love story, or create one, or engage in one, or start a new one. You're also able to move relationships from, well, first of all, to a deeply surrendered place because of South Node, committed loves in a deeply allowing space, but also Jupiter rules the house of legal weddings and marriages, and like getting that whole thing down. Some of you might want to get engaged under the sky, or with Mercury's rulership of your fourth house, move in together. With Venus, maybe purchase a property together. She rules your house of mortgages. So it's somehow like romantic love can lead to, cohabitation, legal marriage, all that kind of thing, and more commitment, but in a very spiritually surrendered or spiritually adaptable way. South Node in your seventh house. Yes, grandchildren absolutely can be born under this. Before you ask me, maybe you had grandchildren born, children, grandchildren born like 1978 at a year, May, August of 1990 at a year, August of 2001 to, let's say, July of 2023, were grandchildren born or children born, because this is a super fertility signature, right? It's like huge energy here. So children and grandchildren both. Swift moving decisions to move your home, but connected to your children, could happen. But next August is here. With the sun ruling the house of employment or employee employment stories, Jupiter ruling the career house, sun under Mercury's guidance. There may be some changes in home that are exciting. You feel good fortune has landed your way. You feel excited, but you may have to relocate where you live. So if you're looking for work, or you are in a company that has multiple offices across the country or across the state, you might be changing your home by next August. Yeah, that's a possibility. One darker story is the loss of a relationship, like the end of a marriage that leads to a change of home. You would feel, though, somewhat fortunate no matter what, like that this feels like a positive outcome for you, although you couldn't quite pin down the tail on the donkey, that this should feel fortunate. It may feel like, oh yeah, I just jackpot, my narcissistic ex is like willing to split the resources that I can get out of this relationship, or something like that. In general, there's a potential that you'll experience some blessed travel that can lead to new love, or that your sibling relationships become amplituded up. Siblings involved that could become more important to you, or just siblings in general, a sibling one younger, a sibling three younger, or three older. Those are the siblings that are most likely to step into this fray, and sibling energy can lead to a kind of feeling of financial good fortune. So money connected to siblings is highly attituded up here. I mean, even Saturn rules the sibling one older, and that's where the moon is. And so siblings, one older, one younger, three older, and money are very activated here, including land connected to siblings, property connected to siblings as well. If I have advice for you, if you're like self-employed, or you're killing it in some natural ability or talent you have, and you want to extend into even greater success, pace yourself. Mars says, pace yourself. He's in Venus's house. All the glory and success in the world don't matter if you're working too hard and you become exhausted, and then you're not able to keep on keeping going. So it's balancing, pacing yourself if you're in any kind of work environment that's, really extending you in terms of your vital force energy. And last but not least, the last thing I'll say for Pisces, as I ponder the sky, you have a chironic money wound maybe nagging you since 2019. Venus in her joy in the house of good fortune, the moon ruling that with the house of windfalls, Lord Saturn. There is a chance with Mercury, he's like the ticket, right? Buy the ticket, that you can come into a windfall. And Venus says, chunky money, anyone? So if you've been laboring under some kind of financial strain or worry, then maybe, and Saturn is money worry, worrying about money is potentially true for you, but also working hard for money until spring of 28, and discipline. And conserving money and structuring your money, and taxes and ways to save money. But all said and done, between June 9th and next August, you have a chance of winning money, whether it's a casino, a stock that takes off in the markets, an altcoin that goes crazy, a lottery ticket, right? And there's no timetable on that. It's not about June 9th. It could be June the 9th, but it bakes in this kind of fortuitous luck on your money front all through all of those periods I'm describing. And some of the luck can come from siblings as well, fortifying your own financial resources and pocketbook, siblings being a big part of that too. I hope that helps. Don't forget that success flows effortlessly. I'm going to bank on it. And go watch the introduction to the video, because this Otter Spirit jewelry, yeah, I love this stuff. Go check out their, where's my Pyrite crystal ball? You got to love it, man. The thing is so heavy, so heavy. Okay, so I'm holding on to this success flows effortlessly. I don't have an outro today. My throat is really kind of sore, maybe just from talking. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Do I have an outro? I hate when I haven't had one for a while, just talking about some super woo. I had the most weird dream last night. I don't think I can talk about it till I understand it, so I'm not going to use that. But talk about deep shadow integration last night. I was really working on deep shadow integration. I'm recording this on May the 25th. No, I don't think I have anything wise or supernatural woo to say. Please like and subscribe. Please check out my Celebrate giveaway, and I'll see you guys in the next video. This is coming out, I believe, on June the 4th, and we'll have more videos coming out Sunday and Monday ahead. I'll see you soon, and hopefully this was helpful. I'm sending you all some great blessings for this next year ahead.
Lunatic astrology.